Good morning, class. I welcome you all in my class today. Today we will be starting a new chapter, that is mass, density and temperature. This is the chapter number 2 in your syllabus, but chapter number 4 in your book. It starts on page number 44. Today we will cover from page number 44 till page number 46. Again, this is your book, New Lower Secondary Science Book 1, Science, Grade 6. Today in this chapter, we will learn about different topics like about mass and its units of measurement, the different types of balances for measuring mass, the meaning of density and its units for measurement, the concept of floating and sinking. Class, let's start our topic or chapter with the brainstorming. As you can see on the screen that the hot air balloons are floating in the air. Have you ever thought that why do hot air balloons rise in the air? Please turn off your mics and turn off your videos. So, how do you make them rise higher? What can you do to bring them down? So, our first question: why do hot air balloons rise in the air? This is because when the burner in the balloon we turn it on, the air gets hot, the molecules in the air they gain energy, move faster and faster, and they move apart from each other, become lighter in weight, lighter in mass, and their density gets lighter, due to which the balloon rise up in the air. How do you make them rise higher? By heating the air, we make the balloon to rise high in the air because of the lighter density of the hot air. Next question: what can you do to bring them down? Simple. If we turn off the burner, the hot air gets cooled down, the molecules they lose their energy and they tend to settle down, and afterwards they when the air becomes cool, the balloon gets down on the earth. So next is, what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter possessed by an object, or the amount of matter in an object. So you can see in the picture that there are two balloons in each pan, there are two balls in each pan of the physical balance, mass, and we can say that both the pans have the same mass. Mass is the amount of matter contained in these balls. Mass is always stays same. It does not change according to the location and the shape of the object. Let's take an example of your school bags. The mass of the school bag at home and the mass of the school bag at the school remains same. It does not change with the location. If you are carrying your bag from home to school, the mass of the bag will remain same. If you are carrying your bag from assembly ground to your class, the mass will remain same. It does not change. Even the shape of the object does not allow the mass to change. Like if we take an example of a piece of a paper. If we make a boat out of that paper, the mass will remain same. Mass does not change. If we distort the shape of the paper, the mass remains same. But if we increase the number and size of particles in an object, the mass will change. The mass will only change upon increasing or decreasing the number and size of the particle. Next is, SI units for mass. The SI units for mass is kilogram, kg. The SI unit is System International, and it is the standardized system that is being followed in the entire world. So class for other units, we have other units of mass. We have ton, means 1 ton is equals to 1000 kg, and grams and milligrams. As you can see in the picture here, that we use different units for different substances according to their size or their number of particles in it. So let's take an example of grain of sand. It is very tiniest particle. Say grain of a sand, grain of rice, these are very tiny particles. So we use milligram for grain of a sand, grain of rice, or some other very tiny particles. For a paper clip, it is bit larger in size than grain of sand or rice. Paper clip, it has some bigger mass. That's why it can be calculated or it can be measured in grams. Likewise, this this fruit, pineapple, or we can take an example of human body or other bit heavier things, larger, a bit large masses, they can be measured in kilograms. Likewise, an elephant, it is the huge or the largest animal. It can be measured, means the mass of an elephant can be measured in ton, right? So SI unit, commonly the SI unit for mass used is SI unit for mass used commonly is kilogram, and other units we use ton, grams, and milligrams. Now come, what is SI unit? SI is an abbreviation of System International or International System. It is an internationally standardized system. The SI was established in 1960 by the 11th General Conference on Weights and Measurements. Right? Understood? So let's move to the next slide. The original kilogram prototype. This is the original kilogram prototype. It is a cylinder of platinum and platinum iridium alloy, which is kept at the International Bureau of Weights and Measure BIPM near Paris. What is it? It is actually an object that was used to define the magnitude of the mass of the kilogram. The international prototype kilogram is a cylinder of platinum and platinum iridium alloy. It is kept near France. It is used to accurate or adjust scales and make sure the whole world is on one system. Original prototype is kept in France and its copies are around at different countries. Got it? Okay class. Now let's move to the next slide. Okay, again we have some examples of SI units for mass. For larger or heavier objects, ton is used, as I have told you in the previous slide, that for heavier or larger objects, here we take an example of a truck. Truck is the heavier object or larger object, we can use ton to measure its mass. Next is human body. The mass is measured in kilogram. After that, something that is lighter in weight or smaller in lighter or smaller object, the mass is calculated or measured in grams. For example, this piece of a stone or some paper clip, the mass is measured in grams. How do we measure mass? Mass is measured by using beam balances. We will study about them in the later slides. Let's study some conversion of units for mass. As you have studied, I believe that all of you have studied in mathematics in class 5 that milli means thousand and kilo means thousand. If we have something 1000 milligrams, it is equals to 1 grams. Means if we take 1000 milligrams of rice, or grains of rice, or grains of 1000 grains of sands, it is equals to 1 grams. If we take 1000 grams of rice, it is equals to 1 kilogram. Something if we take, for instance, if we take 1000 kilograms of rice, it is equals to 1 ton. So a ton is equals to 1000 kilograms. Got it? Okay, students. Now we take other examples for our practice, that 1 kilogram is equals to 1000 grams. Anything of 1 kilogram, it has, or it contains 1000 grams in it. For instance, here they have shown 3 kg or 3 kilograms of potatoes. 3 kilograms of potatoes means 3000 grams of potatoes. 2 kg flour means 2 kilogram flour, it means 2000 grams of flour. 1.5 kilograms, 1.5 kg means 1.5 kilograms of bananas, it means 1500 grams of bananas. 1 kg of cheese means 1 kilogram of cheese is equals to 1000 grams of cheese. I hope you have got my point, or you understood very well that how do we convert the units of masses, right? Now next our topic is mass and weight. Class, at times people get confused with weight. They mix mass and weight altogether, right? So means we use both interchangeably. At times we use mass and weight interchangeably. Mass is the amount of matter contained in any object. However, weight is the force exerted on a body by gravity, right? Means gravity is the force of attraction between two masses. When Earth's gravity pulls the body towards itself, or exerted a force on a body, that is its weight, the weight of the body. So, for instance, let's take an example here. One thing I want to tell you, that the weight changes with location, shape, and size. We learned that mass does not change with location and shape. However, weight changes with location, shape, and size. Weight is measured in Newton, mass is measured in kilograms, kg, grams, milligrams, and ton. So, Newton, the abbreviation for Newton is N. It is written over here. So, if my weight is 560 Newton on Earth and my body mass is 56 kilogram on Earth, if the planet is changed, means if I move from Earth to Moon, my weight reduces from 560 Newton to 90 Newtons only. I will be weightless there due to the zero gravity, but my mass remains same whether I am on Earth, whether I am on Moon. In both the cases, in both the location, my mass will remain same, that is 56 kg. However, the weight will be reduced 6 times. I here just want to tell you that the gravity on Earth is 6 times lesser on Moon. Means if the gravity is 100% on Earth, the gravity on Moon reduces up till 60, more than 60%, reduce up till more than 60%, or at times it is zero gravity. That's why you have seen in so many movies that astronauts, the people who move in space or on Moon, they are weightless there. They are unable to stand on the surface of the moon, because of the zero gravity, they are unable to walk properly or stand properly, rather they float on the surface. That's why, because their weight, there is zero gravity or very less gravity, due to which they are unable to stand or walk on the surface of the moon, and their body weight reduces so many times, so from 560 newton to 90 newtons only, right? Now, how do we measure weight? We measure weight by using a spring balance. This is an apparatus which is used commonly for measuring weight of an object. You must have seen, I believe you people have seen the this spring balance everywhere, where when people use to weigh the objects. You have seen this object, the spring balance, at your home or in shops, extra, right? This is used for measuring mass, weight. Next is double beam, a double beam balance. A double beam balance is used for measuring mass. Here is the picture for double beam balance. This type of double beam balance is used in physical labs or in laboratories for measuring very small masses. And this type of physical balance is used in shops mostly to measure the masses. In ancient times, or when the technology was not so advanced, people, they were using such type of beam balances to measure the mass of different objects. However, these days, when the science has made advancement in our daily life, science has provided us with the latest technology that is called an electronic balance. You have seen this electronic balance as well in shops or in supermarkets, where people use them for measuring masses of different objects during the shopping. And this electronic balance, it is very easy to handle. It gives high accuracy, and it provides easy read digital reading, like you can see on the screen. It provides us with the easy digital reading. So we can say that these are three different types, or there are so many types. If you search in the Google, you can find so many different types of electronic balances. And here I have shown you three different types. This glass wall is being provided to avoid the disturbance while we are measuring the mass, avoid the disturbance of air, to reduce the disturbance of air. That's why this one is being covered with the glass protection, right? So what is an electronic balance? uh, Students, this question always comes in exams, that what is an electronic balance or what is a beam balance, or define both of them. So please, on page number 46, paragraph 1, the definition of both the balances along with the picture is given. Mark it as important so that you can go through it later on. Okay, fine. Now next is density. So what is density? Density is mass per unit volume. You have read in class 5 upthrust. Upthrust is the concept of density, and it's a mass per unit volume, means in a fixed volume, if there are particles arranged compactly, means they are tightly packed in an object, the object is more dense. It has more density. If an object has loosely arranged particles or less number of particles, then we can say that this is the less dense object. Here in the picture you can see that in a particular volume, in the first window, in the first container, the volume is fixed, and the number of particles inside it, or the number of balls inside it, they are large in number and they are closely packed, tightly packed to each other. That's why we can say it's more dense. And in the second uh, container, the particles are loosely arranged, they are not more in number, that's why they are called less dense or have less density. We can give example of density like in your school you have two classes of same length or width, of two classes of same sizes, two rooms, right? In one class there are 30 students sitting, and in another room only 10 students are sitting. Which one is more dense? Which has more density? The one in which the number of students are more, means the third, where the 30 students are sitting has more density. Where the 10 students are sitting, it has less density. So we can say density depends upon how tightly packed the particles are in an object. Okay, class? So we can define density as mass per unit volume, or we can simply we say mass divided by volume of an object. The SI unit for density is kilograms per meters cube. Kilograms per meters cube means kg is for the unit for mass and meters cube is for volume. And we can define volume is the space occupied by an object, by a particular object. So we can use another unit, the for smaller objects we can use grams per centimeters cube. The kilograms, this unit for density is used for small, bigger objects, and this is for the smaller objects. So let's move to the next slide. Let's see what they are showing us. Here they are showing us the example that the density of a copper penny is same as the density of a copper pot. We can see the copper penny is smaller in size and pot is bigger in size, but both are having the same arrangement of particles. The particles inside them are compactly or tightly arranged. The density of a steel paperclip is same as the density of a steel screw. Both are different in shapes, different in size, but their molecules are compactly arranged, tightly arranged in the same manner. That's why they have the same density. Now, again, we take example of density of construction material. Construction industries, we have so many different items which have different density. Like here is a table which is showing that there are different materials, different solid materials, and in the second column they are showing their density. For instance, let's understand this first. They have shown us three different containers, or we can say three different blocks. In first block, the sizes of the blocks are all same. In first block, there are only two particles. In the second block, the middle one, only four particles. In the last one, the third block, there are so many particles. They are closely packed. So which one have the low density? The first one, which has only two particles. They are loosely arranged, they have so many space, they are not gathered together, they are not compactly arranged. So the density is low. It has less density. The middle one, four particles, it has the density, it has more density than the first one. And the last one, the molecules are much more in number, they are compactly arranged particles, and that's why this block has the high density, right? So here, as you can see, the materials in the on the number one, concrete. It has a density of 2300 kilograms per meter cube. Alpha uh, asphalt concentrated 2400 grams per meter cube. Bricks 1900 kilograms per meter cube. Cement 1400 meters per centimeter cube. Clay wet 2080 kilograms meters cube. Cement mortar 1440 kilograms meters cube. Concrete reinforced 2400 kg per meters cube. Gypsum 1200 kg per meters cube. Sand 1650 meters cube kilograms per meters cube. Concrete blocks 1400 kilograms per meters cube. Gravel 1800 kilograms per meters cube. Steel 7850 kilograms meters cube. Wood average 400 to 700 kilograms per centimeters cube. Water 1000 kilograms per centimeters cube. So which one has the largest density out of all these items? The steels. It has 7850 kilograms per meters cube. The density in all these things, in all these solids and the only liquid, the water, it depends upon the arrangement of particles inside them. All the solid, keep this in mind that solid objects have large density. However, those objects like gas and liquids have less density, and air or the gases, they have very less density. So all these objects, out of all these objects, the steel has the very highest density. The molecules in the steel are compactly arranged. However, the less density, the less dense object is the wood, right? Now, formula for density as it is shown in the picture, density is equals to mass upon volume. I have told you that the definition of density is mass per unit volume. It means mass divided by volume. If we have the mass of an object and volume of an object, if we divide the mass of the object with the volume, we will get the density. We will calculate the density in the next chapter. We will carry out some numerical so that you will understand it much better. Okay, class. Now, again, I'm showing you this picture to get the better understanding of air pressure, low density of air, and high density of air. Low density, I am again telling you that when we heat the air or the hot air, the molecules in the hot air, they gain energy, they start vibrating, moving faster, they move here and there faster, and they move far away from each other. They are not compactly or tightly packed together. That's why they become lighter and their density is also lesser. When the hot air cools down, its molecules, they lose energy, they try to settle down, they come near to each other, they are closely packed to each other, like you can see here. The molecules, they are gathered to each other, compactly arranged. That's why they become heavy and their density becomes high. That's why hot air has low density and cool air has high density. That's why the hot air balloon, upon getting the hot air, it rises up in the air, and after cooling down of the air, when the air cools down, the balloon move towards the earth, or it comes down to the earth. Okay, class. Now here you can see that how density explains the floating or sinking in a gas or liquid. In the first picture, I have already explained you 2-3 times about the hot air balloon. That hot air balloon, when the burner is turned on, the air inside the balloon gets hot and it becomes lighter and its density become lesser, which takes the balloon up in the air, right? This is the floating or sinking phenomena in gas due to the less density. Or when we cool down, or when we turn off the burner in the balloon, what happens? The hot air becomes cooled down, and due to the cooling of the air, the balloon comes back to the earth, because the cold air has higher density molecules. They settle down and they compact together, they tightly arrange together, they lose their energy, and they bring the balloon down on the earth. In the next picture, you are observing that there are two cans of Coke. One is the regular one, another one is the Diet Coke. In the regular Coke, the can of the regular Coke is settled down, or it sinks in the water surface. This is due to the sugar content in the liquid, in the sugar content in the uh, Coke, which due to which the density of the can becomes higher and it sinks on the bottom. While the Diet Coke has very less amount of sugar, due to which the density of the liquid, density of the Coke is less, which keeps the can to float on the water surface, right? We can take example of an egg as well. When we put the egg in a glass of water, if it is a fresh tap water, the egg, it floats on the water surface. But if we add little amount of salt, or if we take the salty water, the egg settles down, or it sinks down in the water. This is due to the difference in the density of fresh water or salt water. Same is the case. Have you ever thought that what happens if the two objects, two substances of the same densities, they are means if the density of the object or the density of water is same, what would happen? Think about it and answer me in the chat window. I will be describing it later on. First, in this picture you can see that in a glass of water, a small piece of solid or metallic metal, some metal block, a small piece of some metal block is being dropped in the glass of water, which the metal piece is settled down, or it sinks in the water. It settles at the bottom of the water. This is due to the high density of the metal. Its density is higher than the water, that's why it settles down in the bottom. In the another picture, you can see a ship is floating on the surface of water. However, if we compare the size of the ship and the size of the block, this metallic block, and this size of the ship, there is a vast difference between the sizes of these two. This is the smaller one, and this is the huge one. But it floats. The ship floats, although it is made up of steel or wood. Even that, it floats on the water surface. This is because the density of the ship is less than the water. Why its density is less? Because although its body is made up of steel or wood, but inside of it, it is hollow. And in the hollow space, there is air, which has less density than water. So ship, due to the hollow structure, it has less density than water. That's why it keeps on floating on the water surface. If we put a hole in the at the bottom of the ship, water gets inside and the ship sinks down due to the heaviness of water, or due to the water inside, because the density of water, ship will be dense due to the water inside, and it sinks down. So the metal block, small metal block, sinks down in the pot of a water or a glass of water due to the high density than water, and ship keeps on floating on the water surface due to the less density than water. Now my question was, why what happens when the two objects of the same density are there? If we dip an object which has the same density with water, like water, whatever the density of water if we place the same object of the same density, what would happen? They neither float nor they sink. The object and the water will be constant at the same level. Means if the densities are same, means the density of water and the density of the object are same, the object neither float nor sinks. It rather it keeps constant at the same level, right? So now let's move to the next. Here you can see some items. Our predictions are that paper clip, button, paper, metal spoon, they all sink down in the water at the bottom, right? Paper clip, right? Button, right? Paper, no. But when we dip the paper in the water, it absorbs water, become heavier, and it sinks down. Metal spoon, yes. Float in floating, there are objects like a sponge, cotton ball, toothpick, plastic spoon. These are all the objects which have less density than water and they float on the water surface. So class, what we have learned today: mass, its units and how to measure mass, different types of balances for measuring mass, density and its SI units, concept of floating and sinking. In the next chapter, next lecture, we will continue with the topic concept of floating and sinking. Please read the chapter page number 45 till 46. We will continue it in the next chapter, in the next lecture. Home assignment, your this time you will be having your written home assignment and it will be uploaded in your Google Classroom. Please follow the instructions. Okay. I thank you for your time and concentration. Wish you good luck. Allah Hafiz.